Hey everyone, my name is Zach Lomria. In this video, I'll be walking you through the change mechanism that has allowed me to make $6,353 last week online at 18 years old. So yeah, let's get right into it. I promise you that if you take one thing from this video, it will change your life if you apply it, right? So who's Zach Lomria? I've been into making money online for pretty much my whole life now, since I was 13 years old. Been trying lots of different things. I've tried trading, I've tried YouTube, I did not stick to it, and I've also tried my own marketing agency. So I had my first little bit of success when I was 16 years old starting this. I used to cold call these shops over the phone and try and get them to let me do their marketing. I got a few. I didn't really fulfill my service that great. They didn't really get much client results, but I tried my best, right? And for the past 6 months, ever since I graduated high school, I've been fully locked in on online sales. I'm pretty much putting everything into it. And because I just had my biggest week in entrepreneurship, I thought it was the perfect time to actually get started with this channel and make it happen, right after putting it off for so long. I've also just moved into my new apartment as well. So I thought it was the perfect time to actually get started with this and make it happen. So yeah, like I said, for the past 6 months, I've been in my room working away, building myself brick by brick by brick into who I am now. Not that I've achieved a whole lot, but I've set myself a good launch pad for what's next, okay? So before we get into it, I just want to bring you guys for a quick tour of my new apartment, which I've just moved into. So here's the apartment at the moment. Workspace needs to get a bit better, and the kitchen's good. Haven't used it once though, to be honest. Also got a balcony out here. It's a bit dark, so I'm not going to show you the view because you can't see it. But yeah, essentially there's not a whole heap to it. Got a bedroom here which is separate, which was important to me. But essentially everything in here is optimized. So yeah, like I said, everything in this apartment is essentially optimized for me to get to my next goals after I achieved my first one. So I always wanted to move to Southeast Asia, and that's why I'm here, where I am now, in Da Nang, Vietnam. It's nice and warm, much warmer than it is back home. So wanted to get away, get in the sunshine and lock in here. So the first step in this change mechanism is a paradigm shift. So this is a change in the way that you view the world and perceive it. So essentially, this is a change in the alternative path space. This is getting a little bit esoterical here, but everyone has their own path, and there's unlimited different options for where you can go down, okay? And you get to choose exactly what one. So let's say you're choosing what direction you want to go in the future. So for a bit, I was tossing up going to a 9 to 5. I knew I wouldn't like this. It would have just been a normal corporate job. I probably would have done investment banking or something. So I had unlimited options of what direction I wanted to go, what direction I wanted my mind to wire myself into. And I always knew since I was a little kid, like I said earlier, that I wanted to get into business and I wanted to take this jump. But it was scary, right? I had lots of people telling me, no, don't do that. I've even had, like friends, parents tell me, no, don't do that. And my mum was very against me going along a different path, but I always knew that this is exactly what I wanted to do, and I only lived one life. So at the start of the year, I went to Bali to focus in on what I was going to do, okay? Online sales. I bought a program and I knew I was going all in on this and giving it a red hot crack. So I went to Bali. I used some of the money I made from my last ventures, and I stayed in this place, went to this gym, and I met lots of like-minded people who were further down the same track that I was on, okay? Being surrounded by these people gave me this magical paradigm shift that I'm talking about. It changed the way that I perceived the world. It flicked that switch in my head that made me realize that I had to make this work and there was no other option. Ever since speaking to these people, some of them were my age, some of them were 30 years old, some of them, whatever. But I knew that being surrounded by these like-minded people who were going down the same path as me, but they were further along that path, that it was possible. Ever since I was young, I've always seen people online who have had success. I had family friends who have had success in business, but seeing people who were in the online space having the success that I wanted made it much more tangible, and I knew that it was going to work for me. So ever since that day, and I'm so happy I had that paradigm shift, I've been fully locked in on making this work, and that's what I've done. So first step, paradigm shift. It's a crazy experience, and it's something that every single person who wants to have success should have. So this brings us on to our second step. So you've had your paradigm shift, you know you want to change, but the next thing to happen is figuring out exactly what you want to change into and how you're going to do it. So first step, figure out exactly what you want to change into, get really specific. So for me, my first sets of goals were making $10,000 a month online, and my second one was move to Southeast Asia. So these were my goals. This is what I was working towards, right? And then once I had this desire, I had to set intention. So an intention is actually doing the actions and doing what gets you there. So I planned out my whole day, step by step by step, exactly what I was gonna do. Wake up at 4:20, go to the gym, sauna, ice bath, and then 2 5-hour work blocks separated by a little break in the middle. By me doing this and staying consistent with it, I knew that cause and effect would take place, and my massive steps of congruency and alignment were going to allow me to get the results that I wanted. So by me putting aside the alcohol, going out on the weekends, and locking in on my schedule every single day, I knew that over time, by cause and effect, all of my inputs would achieve my outputs. And that's what happened, right? This can also be amplified if you think like the person who achieves your goals. So get really, really specific on how they think. Could be positive thinking, not letting negative thoughts go into their head. And if you can think like the person who achieves your goals, it brings you much closer, and it speeds up the process. So something I did every morning when I went into the sauna was visualize, close my eyes and visualize as the exact person that I wanted to become. So I used to visualize myself walking on the beach in Da Nang, and soaking in everything, the colors, the texture of the sand, what the smell was like, the palm trees, the water, and I got really vivid on it. Little snapshots, little seconds. I'd even imagine myself in the sauna, which I'm in now in Da Nang, right? How crazy. So if you get really specific, it tricks your brain into thinking that that's actually happening, and you become that person by visualizing as that person, okay? So that's step 2, alignment and congruency, the most important one. So the third step, now that you're fully aligned to the version of yourself that you're becoming, good stuff, right? But it's hard. It's really hard to stay congruent for long periods of time. And that's where momentum comes in, step 3. So essentially what momentum is what I like to call the snowball effect. And it's not really mine, but the snowball effect, right? Essentially, you start off by pushing a boulder or a big ball up a hill, and it's hard. You might be waking up really early in the morning. It's like, fuck this, I want to go back to sleep. And that's how I felt, right? And that's how everyone who tries to make change feels. But it's really important that you push through those first few days of something being extremely challenging. And once you get through it, once you get to the other side of it, you start rolling downhill. So after those first few days, it just becomes what you do. It's just part of your routine. It's who you are. And once this happens, you start enjoying it more. You start enjoying those work blocks during the day, and you start enjoying going to the sauna. You start enjoying the ice bath and how it feels. So once you can push through those first few days of hard, challenging times and experiences, everything gets much easier. And yeah, you just need to be consistent with it and let time take its place and let reality realize into the version of you who you're becoming. So the 4th step is pain, and this is really linked to momentum, and it's something that you can use to keep your momentum going. So every single person has a painful experience from their life, right? Could be something that happened to you in high school, could be many different things, right? And what I did was bottle up all my pain, as pain burns the hardest. The number one aspect and the number one factor of human behavior is pain avoidance. Humans love running away from pain. So if you can figure out exactly what the thing is which builds up the most pain for you and you utilize it, it's a magical thing, right? Because you can use this as fire, as fuel to push towards your goals every single time. And when I felt like quitting, when I felt like not getting up in the morning, what I'd do, right, is just put myself back in those situations and I'd be able to operate, go about my day and keep that alignment, because I knew that I didn't want these things to happen again and I wanted to be better than these certain painful experiences. I'm not going to go too deep into them, but yeah, I just had to make sure I was better than the certain situations which happened, right? And this pushed me and it helped me stay aligned and congruent to my goal. And yeah, it's really helped. So yeah, that's the change mechanism that I've been using, and I know lots of people have been using as well. So how's it worked for me, right? I mentioned those 2 goals earlier, and this mechanism has helped me achieve those, hitting $10,000 a month online and moving to Southeast Asia. All I did was literally follow this process, aligning myself exactly to the version of myself that I want to become. I used the pain, I used the momentum, and that paradigm shift was this thing which sparked everything at the start, okay? Now that I've achieved these goals, I did find myself getting a little bit complacent for maybe like a week in Perth, which is another reason why I've come to Southeast Asia, okay? So now that I'm here, I've reevaluated my goals, I've figured out where I am now, and I've figured out exactly what I need to change, exactly what my new goals are, and how I'm going to get there, okay? So that's what you got to do once your reality realizes to your first goals. You got to change and make sure that you actually put the actions in place and the intention to get to the next step. So yeah, thank you for watching the video. I'm going to start putting more of these videos out. It's something that I've been putting off for a while, so I'm happy that I'm finally getting it out. If you have any advice for me, what I could do better, please DM me on Instagram, leave a comment, and yeah, if you want any help in anything, my DMs are always open. I'm happy to guide you along your journey, point you in the right direction. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll chat soon.